There it goes.
Okay, we are live and we are recording. We will start our meeting with a pledge to the flag.
Oh.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everybody to our January 7th Village Board meeting. And we'll start off. We have a public hearing to consider a proposed local law to override the property tax cap for the coming fiscal year pursuant to the authority granted in subdivision 5 of general municipal law, subsection 3-C. Can we get a reading of the proof of publication, Mo?
Sure. Notice is hereby given that pursuant to section 7-706 of the village law of the state of New York and pursuant to resolution of the village board of the village of Baldwinsville adopted December 17th, 2020, a public hearing will be held by the village board at the regularly scheduled online remote meeting on the 7th day of January 2021 at 7:30 p.m. to consider a proposed local law to override the property tax cap for the coming fiscal year pursuant to the authority granted in subdivision 5 of general municipal law, subsection 3-C. A copy of the proposed local law may be examined by any interested party by contacting the office of the village clerk. Due to the COVID-19 crisis, persons wishing to be heard need to contact the village clerk to obtain a password to participate by Zoom video conferencing. Please call the office no later than Thursday, January 7th by 3 p.m. Communications in writing in relation thereto may be filed with the clerk prior to the hearing.
Very good. It seems that no one signed up for it. I did put that on our Facebook page. If anybody was interested in participating, that they could call you and get the sign-on key. So I would just say, anyone wishing speaker in favor of the proposal? And seeing no one, or anyone wishing to speak against the proposal? And seeing no one, can I get a motion to adjourn and close the public hearing? Andy?
Second.
Shep? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay, we have a second public hearing to hear comments regarding the tentative budget for the fiscal year beginning March 1st, 2021, ending February 28th, 2022. Can I get a reading and proof of publication, Mo?
Please take notice that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Baldwinsville, County of Onondaga, State of New York, pursuant to resolution of the Village Board adopted December 17, 2020, will conduct a public hearing at the regularly scheduled online remote meeting on the 7th day of January 2021 at 7:35 p.m. to hear comments regarding the tentative budget for the fiscal year beginning March 1st, 2021 and ending on February 28th, 2022. The compensation proposed in said budget for the mayor is $15,003 per year, $25.50 per year for the deputy mayor, $5,100 per year for each trustee, and $23,721 for the village justice. Copies of the tentative budget were available during normal business hours in the office of the clerk on December 30th, 2020. Due to the COVID-19 crisis, persons wishing to be heard need to contact the village clerk to obtain a password to participate by Zoom video conferencing. Please call the office no later than Thursday, January 7th by 3 p.m. Communications in writing in relation thereto may be filed with the clerk prior to the hearing by order of the village board of the Village of Baldwinsville.
Thank you, Mo. Seeing that no one responded, I will still ask if there's anyone wishing to speak in favor of the proposal. And hearing none, anyone speaking against the proposal? Again, seeing none. Will we just adjourn this one, Bob? Or we don't close the public hearing, or do we?
Well, you can reopen it, but it would be to adjourn because the next let's see, we got to do this by the 21st. So you can reopen it, I guess, if you, it depends on whether you want to keep it going. But
Yeah.
you can close it because there's no interest.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion to adjourn and close the public hearing? Andy? Ruth? Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. All right, we'll move on to the regular portion of the meeting. Can I get a motion to approve the village board meeting minutes from December 17th, 2020? Andy?
Second.
Shep? Any changes, questions on the minutes? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Seems no citizens signed on. We'll go to trustees' comments. We'll start with Bruce.
I'm going to stick to the agenda.
Very good. We'll go to Megan.
The agenda.
Andy.
I'd just like to wish the mayor a happy birthday, and it dawned on me, you probably enter the contest of the oldest mayor in the county.
I probably am the oldest.
Just agenda items.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah.
I liked your imitation of William F. Buckley earlier today when you wished me a happy birthday. That was nice. Anything else?
That's it. Agenda items on.
I don't want to cut you off. So, okay. Thank you. Shep?
I'll stick to the agenda as well, but happy birthday to you too.
Thanks, Shep. Ruth Seco?
Happy birthday to you and just the agenda, and Happy New Year to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Mark Wilder? Anything?
Well, now that everybody else has been saying it, I should say happy birthday, Mayor.
Yeah, you're kind of obligated, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, happy birthday and many more. And that's it for me. I'll stick to the agenda.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
I'll just have it noted that I wished you happy birthday during the work session.
Yes, you did.
And then I wished him a happy birthday on the phone last night.
Yes, you did.
So that's,
You did. When we were dissecting the SU basketball game and how they lost that game. Couple things. I think everybody's aware of the fact that the Big Chill is not going to be the normal Big Chill this year. There's no running into the river. Chuck won't have to go down and chop up the ice. Yay! But they are doing Big Chill things. I heard people are going to spray each other with hoses, and people are going to jump into snowbanks and, stuff like that.
kiddie pools.
What's that?
Kiddie pools.
Kiddie pools. Some pools might not even be frozen yet.
Like an ice bucket challenge in the middle of winter.
There you go. That would be a good one. I'm sure that the teams will come up with something because they're all very competitive. If you're interested in joining a team and don't have one, if you do have a team that you would like to register, or if you're going to do something on your own, contact the Chamber of Commerce. They're at 36 Oswego Street, 638-0550. And they'll give you any details. And just so you know, as the winning teams get to choose where they want their portion of the winnings to go. And it's usually a fundraising kind of thing. It might be Golisano Hospital, it might be the Volunteer Center. And this is a big fundraiser for the Chamber. They don't have too many different ways to make money, and this is one of them. So if people would like to help support the Big Chill in its abbreviated hybrid form, please get involved. I know that there are several teams that have formed. Then, as this is a Rotary event too, right, Bruce?
Rotary works with them because in past years, we've provided the volunteer labor. But we're working with them again.
Okay.
Even though there's no labor.
Well, it's just a reminder that a lot of the groups in the village, the Rotary, the Kiwanis, the Lions, the Volunteer Center, the food bank, all those types of things are probably all way behind in fundraising, just because they haven't been able to have events that normally were their big events. I know the Volunteer Center always has the casino night, and that was one of the early victims of the COVID. We have margarita fests. We have the old chocolat type of thing. People are making money. Was it a year ago, we had the Taste of Baldwinsville, which brought in a lot of money. A lot of the people who help our residents are not getting the same kind of money that they've got in other years. So if you want to find a way to help, there is a way. I mean, the Big Chill is one way, but feel free to reach out to some of these organizations who may, the Rotary, for instance, does the backpack program where I think the kids take a backpack home for the weekend and it's got enough snacks and somewhat healthy type stuff for kids to eat who might normally go all weekend without a solid meal. Pretty nice program. And it would be nice if they could get some help keeping that going. And I know people have been helping, but it's just a thought to toss out to people. And also, if you would like to know what's going on with our businesses, the Chamber hosts a coffee every Wednesday morning, 10:30. It's a Zoom coffee thing. And several of the different small business owners come on. They all have coffee. They talk about what's going on with their business that might be new. We just opened a new business, I think, where Burton Michael's dry cleaner used to be is now I was going to remember, but it's
Be Good Nutrition or Be Something.
Yeah, and it's shakes and smoothies and stuff, and particularly healthy teas that have a lot of nutrients in them. So for the people who like those kind of drinks, that they've remodeled the inside and have just opened up. So some people are very brave. I mean, it's the middle of the COVID, and yet they're going to open up and test the water a little bit. So that's kind of nice. I would like to note, in sadness, the passing of a good friend to me and a good friend of Baldwinsville, Kenny Kraft, who is 90 years old. Kenny passed away, I think, New Year's Day. He is just a legendary guy around the village. For those of you who don't know Kenny but know Bill Strife, they hung around together some, so you can kind of picture the kind of banter that would go on with Bill Strife. Kenny could hand it out pretty good. He was a pretty good athlete as a youngster, was a big-time football and basketball referee, high school, college, did a lot of big college football games. When I was a varsity coach, he was our summer league coach, kept the book, been involved in basketball for a long time as far as Baldwinsville. And I know his family's going to really miss him, and there's an awful lot of people around the village who are going to really miss Kenny. Super guy, one of those guys that made Baldwinsville a real special place to live. So, and I was going to mention Mike Leffencheck. I had seen a story. I know that they were pushing the governor to sign a law that you couldn't take a driver's license away from somebody who didn't pay their traffic tickets, and if they didn't appear in court, they didn't want them to lose their license or get fined extra. And he signed the law, but only half of that. Are you up to speed on all that stuff to explain it, or should I try to muddle through here?
I know that law was proposed, Mayor, and I'm not exactly familiar with what provision he signed and what's been enacted and what has not. I know that the legislation was proposed, that I'm familiar with, but what actually was signed into law, that I'm not up to speed with exactly, and I don't know when the implementation date of that is also.
Yeah, he did what he signed. You would no longer lose your license if you failed to pay a fine. You would have to come to court and set up a payment scale. You would pay so much based on your income. The feeling is that lower income people get penalized because they can't afford the fines, and so they lose their license and now they can't work. It depends on how you look at it, but you're not going to lose your license if you don't pay a fine, but you do have to appear and work it out with the judge. Now, that's the part that didn't get waived. they wanted to have it that if you didn't show up, you wouldn't get penalized if you didn't show up for your court date. Now what they give you is 90 days to show up after you don't show up for your court date. You still got 90 days, and see if there was anything else. I guess that was it. So they're extending, and you have to have 2 notifications. You have to prove that you sent the person 2 notifications to come to court. And then they have 90 days to answer the court date that they didn't go to. So just muddle along with all that nonsense. Excuse me. See if there's anything else here. Did these police reform Zoom meetings, is that something that started tonight, I think?
Yes, there's one scheduled. I was going to mention it, but I'll mention it now. For residents, it'll go on our Facebook page tomorrow, the 14th, for the towns of Van Buren and Lysander, the village of Baldwinsville, Cicero, Clay, the village of North Syracuse, village of Liverpool. So if anyone has comments, we're going to put it on our Facebook page.
Okay.
And we'll be gathering our group together here in the next week to 2 weeks. I'll be reaching out to people. And the county's been working on a plan, and my plan is that obviously this board will implement the county plan, but we'll have an addendum to that outlining the things that we have done, that we plan to do, we will be doing, and any recommendations that come in. But if there's village residents that have commentary, those Zoom meetings that the county is hosting, as their opportunity to do that. And we'll be posting that on our Facebook page. And we'd already sent out a survey on our Facebook page, which we did have several responses to on our Facebook page of residents and people that have interacted with us. So that was some good feedback for us to utilize as well.
Good. All right, good. And
Yep.
just so people understand, this is all part of the governor's grand plan to reform policing in the state of New York, of which most of the stuff that people are advocating, we already do. I mean, we're quite a ways ahead of the curve on most of the stuff that is of concern in other parts of the state. So hopefully that will show up as we go through this. But it's a good chance for the public to ask questions about, I mean, I've had people ask me, does this mean that police are not going to be as active in the village? You know, I said, we have no intention of that being the case. So, but that's a good question to go and ask people that aren't just in our community, that ask other police agencies what their thoughts are on overall policing stuff. So it's a good opportunity for people to find out a little bit about what you guys have been working with.
And for, you know, to that point, obviously we've been a community policing organization, community service driven organization since late 1972, early 1973. So this process of involving citizen groups and soliciting citizen input, while it might be new to some communities, it's certainly not new to ours. And we've always been very responsive to whether it be citizen feedback, citizen complaints or criticism or ideas or thoughts on how the organization can better serve the community, and as well as obviously responsive to this board that's the elected representatives of our citizen group. So for us, it's not something that we run and hide from. Quite frankly, it's just the opposite. I'd prefer to have the citizen feedback, prefer to know what our citizens think of us. And if there's ways that we can improve service to the community, then those are the things we're going to strive to do. And because over time, the needs and requirements of our citizens in our community obviously changed. The village has changed during my career, certainly during your lifetime here. So I think we've done a good job of changing with it. But if there's ways that we can continue to evolve, then that's what we should do. And I have no problem with this process at all. No.
Good. Good. Very good. Thank you, Chief.
Certainly.
All right. That's all I have. We'll move on to Department heads, we'll start with our attorney, Bob.
I just add my wishes for happy birthday, and other than that, I'll stick with the agenda.
Thank you, sir. Code officer, Greg.
Happy birthday again. Just one thing that's come up again that hasn't come up for a while is farm animals in the village. Received a complaint this week of chickens roaming about. It's actually the second complaint in a couple months about chickens roaming. And just wanted to reiterate that there's no farm animals of any kind allowed to be kept in the village of Baldwinsville on any type of property. So other than that, I'll stick with the agenda.
Very good. Okay, next up is village clerk, Mo.
I just wanted to remind residents that we do have a couple notaries in the office, and all you need to do is come to the door and ring the bell and ask for one of us, and we'll either have you come into the hallway and we can notarize there. I've been getting a few phone calls that, now that a lot of the banks' lobbies are closed, people are having a hard time finding a notary.
Good.
So just want to remind them about that service, and otherwise, wish you a happy birthday, and I'll stick to the agenda.
Thank you. And while you're here, Mo, people have received tax notices. They are not village taxes. Just double check and make sure you're aware of that. These are county and town taxes payable to the town of Lysander or the town of Van Buren, not to the village. While we would love the extra income, it's not ours to take. But Mo has already had a couple inquiries about the taxes. And just so people are aware, this week, at least, the town of Lysander offices have been closed because of a couple of cases of COVID. So they've been asking people to mail in their taxes or use the drop box, which is, I think, to the right of the main door. Pretty obvious, I think, if you go to the door, and somebody will take care of it. Obviously, if you have an issue, call somebody at whichever town you live in to get questions answered. But I just don't want people mailing it to us towards the end of the month when you're facing a deadline, and now it's going to be late because we either send it back to you or we'll forward it to the town or whatever we do, but it may get there past the deadline and you won't be very happy to pay the fine. So 2 towns, Lysander, Van Buren, are where to go with your this round of tax bills.
Right. Ours will come out in March.
March 1st, you'll get village ones.
Correct.
Okay, move on to treasurer, Anna.
I just have one thing. Everyone should have received their November financials. And if you have any questions, please let me know right away. And other than that, I will stick to the agenda.
Very good. Thanks, Anna. Move on to the senior center, Ruth.
Just a quick reminder for folks that their newsletter subscriptions need to be renewed now if they want to continue to receive the newsletter in the mail. You can also email me and I will add you to a email list, and you'll get a paperless form if you're interested in that. Just email rtroy@baldwinsville.org and you can have it via email. And just add my best wishes for a happy birthday, Mayor, to you as well.
Thank you.
And one more thing, the DPW is doing a great job on the dining room at the senior center. So when we are able to have folks back in, they're going to be very pleasantly surprised with a beautiful space. So thank you, DPW, for that.
Great. And thank the weatherman, because we've had a nice break in the weather where we haven't had to be plowing every day.
Right.
And they've been available. And I think Chuck would agree with me, but I think the guys like that kind of work and they enjoy making our facilities look better. And and it's not bad work. All right, we'll move on to Public Works. Chuck, look at that. Great lead into you.
There we go. I saw a little clip on Facebook today, something about your birthday. So I'd just like to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you.
I met with the DOT a couple times in the last few months. They got out a week or so ago and were able to move some of the signs on the sidewalks. The original signs that they put in the summer, we couldn't get through with our sidewalk plow. The mayor wrote a letter to the state and they got right out here and they moved them the best they can. So, which was really good because we couldn't get we couldn't get through before at all. And we're able to get through with that, so that worked out well. We've been through the village twice. We've made 2 rounds now with picking up Christmas trees, and we'll continue to do that because we'll be constantly bringing them out. But if you have a Christmas tree, get them out. We'll get them. As I said, we spent quite a little time with a few people at the senior center. That's a huge room over there, but we got a lot of that done. We want to do a little bit more this fall if we can over there. That's been a good project. We finished up all of our grinding brush for the year, so that went well. We're right down to no brush at all, with just lots of mulch. If anybody wants any mulch, we have lots. And we're starting to move some ourselves because we've got to get rid of it. The last couple of days we moved almost 100 truckloads. But other than that, unless there's questions, we'll stick to the agenda.
Now, Christmas trees, people got to remember they got to be clean, right? No.
Yeah, no, we don't want any plastic on them. If there's plastic, we won't take them because we can't mulch them. We can't grind them up. So just leave the tree itself out there. And if you put it in a plastic, take it out of your house, take the plastic off, and then throw it in your garbage, and we'll get your tree.
Good, very good. Thanks, Chuck.
Yep.
And we'll finish up with the chief, Michael.
Thank you, Mayor. Obviously, I'll just reiterate some of the things I had talked with Shelley earlier about this week. The nighttime parking ban still in effect. I see us writing some tickets to people. I just prefer that we didn't write any tickets and that our residents or our visitors to the village parked not on the street, so that way Chuck and his crew can keep our streets safe. And we have dealt with a number of responses to individuals suffering from some mental health issues. Obviously, the holiday time period is one that traditionally is difficult for many people. And I think the COVID pandemic has just exacerbated that feeling for some folks of loneliness and separation from those maybe societal groups that they interact with. To that end, we're going to be partnering with Liberty Resources to provide us with some an additional entity that we can have respond out to provide some mental health services to individuals that we come into contact with that likely don't meet the threshold of us to take them into custody under 941 of the mental hygiene law, which means that they're not a danger to themselves or others, but that Liberty Resources can come out and hopefully provide them with the counseling and the professional services that those individuals need. I had Bob look that over, which was helpful to me, and I think it's going to be a great partnership with them. Many other police agencies in the county are doing the same thing. It's just going to be another option for us, for those individuals that we come into contact with, that we can provide them another avenue of support.
Which is.
And then, of course, happy birthday, Mayor. I did send you a message on Facebook there, but just want to make sure.
Appreciate that. So I can never forget I'm getting older. But
exactly. Well, it beats the alternative, sir.
That's right. And what you're talking about with getting this outside help is kind of what people have been talking about, that police agencies should supplement their force with, they always say social workers, but somebody who can talk somebody down a little bit and offer them some help. We're not looking to arrest people. You're looking to get them help. And I applaud those efforts. I think that's what I'd love to hear that. And I hope it works great. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to that partnership starting out. I sent that in today to them, and I'm sure we'll be kicking that off in the next couple of weeks. That partnership, we've come into contact with people, and I had a very lengthy conversation with Shelley this week and about a situation we had in the village. We had somebody move in, and it was really in crisis. Was suffering from some issues there, and we involved a lot of outside entities to try and assist us with that person, because they had not reached that level where we could take them into custody. And by custody, it means we're not arresting them. We're bringing them to CPEP, which means that they aren't going voluntarily, but we're determining that they're a threat to themselves or others. Either they've made some outward threats to harm themselves, or they've taken pills, or they've cut themselves, or it's clear that they're a real threat to themselves or someone else. But if they haven't met that threshold, we don't have the legal authority to force someone into treatment, where this will provide us another option where people can come out and hopefully talk those folks into some sort of voluntary treatment program, which is really, to your point, what we're looking to accomplish.
Yeah. Great. That's
Right.
good news. Glad to hear it. Thank you.
Certainly.
All right. We're done with departments. We'll move on to pending business. Can I get a motion approving the proposed local law to override the property tax cap for the coming fiscal year pursuant to the authority granted in subdivision 5 of general municipal law subsection 3-C?
Moved.
Got Megan? You got a second? Ruth? Just to let people know, we have no intention of going over the tax cap. This is just to cover if something were to happen and we have an expense added to our budget that we hadn't accounted for, and we have to raise the tax levy, just so people know that the tax levy is going to stay the same. It's a zero increase. But things have happened to people where the bottom has fallen out of their budget, and now they go over the tax cap, and then there's stuff to pay for when you go over the tax cap. There's penalties and so on, and we don't want to do that. So this is just a absolutely precautionary thing if something unexpected were to happen. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Just check with the board. Do you feel comfortable? Do we want to vote on our budget tonight, or do you want to wait till the 21st to leave us time if something were to come up that we would, rather than having to amend the budget that we just approved, we can officially approve it on the 21st? What's everybody's feeling? I mean, I think our budget's in pretty good shape if you've looked through it. For the public to know, our budget is up just about $50,000 from last year, and so much of that is workers' comp and insurance. It's not like we're spending a lot more money. It's just there's things that we have to have, and those things go up. That's because actually the police budget is lower this year than it was last year. And Chief did a great job in keeping it tight. And I know that our Public Works Committee did a great job with that budget and keeping it tight. And we have some fluff in there. We have a pretty good size paving budget line that if we get, find out we're in a little bit of trouble financially, we can cut that in half. I mean, we would like not to have to cut back on our paving. We have
Don't use the word fluff, Mr. Mayor.
I thought the same thing.
What's that?
I wouldn't use the word fluff.
No, it's an area that if we had to do a little cutting, we could cut back on the amount of paving we're going to do. Right. Fluff was a bad choice of words. Okay, little leeway, I guess would be the word. And we were careful, I think, and we kept it under control, and yet we're getting some things that we need to get, and we're taking care of between finishing up in this year's budget and the beginning of next year's, upgrading a lot of the equipment in our water department and service to guarantee that that's going to be running well for quite a while. Thanks to Chuck's input, and then our Public Works Committee has been on top of this all along. So we're all kind of on the same page that we want to keep our water service functioning at very high efficiency. So shall we put this vote off until the next meeting, just if something comes up?
I don't feel the need.
Let's do it now. Get it over it.
Everybody comfortable? I mean,
I'm not going to change.
All right, well, can I get a motion to adopt the proposed village budget for the fiscal year March 1st, 2021 through February 28th, 2022?
Moved.
Second.
Bruce and Megan, any discussion? Again, taxes are staying the same, 0 increase. Anybody else got any input of things you want to mention about the budget for the public to be aware of? It's always one of the tougher things to do every year, but this was one of the easier ones that I've been involved with. It was kind of straightforward. So, all right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Let's see if we have anything here. We have nothing else on the agenda. Anything else that we need to discuss before we pay bills and adjourn?
My agenda has a couple other items.
There's new business on the agenda. It's on the second page, possibly?
You must have sent in a new one?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, let me get it on my phone.
Okay.
Because mine just says motion and motion. But it doesn't have a motion.
I filled it in.
Aha, you
Mine is
by
too.
me. Let's see if I can find it here.
And she sent the relevant information along with it.
I saw the second email come in, but I didn't think it had a new agenda
Oh, yeah.
file on it as
That's
well.
all right, yes.
Yeah, we had some last minute entries.
Okay. Let's see here. Oh, wow. I guess.
And I believe they were probably discussed at the Public Works beforehand.
Yes.
So I don't know if,
So these are the way that they were proposed is the way you want them to go through, Bruce?
I want to talk with Anna. The first one is a discussion item. It's within this year's budget, there was $60,000 that was allocated for a purpose that we're not going to use it. And we'd like to use those funds for other needs within the water department. And I don't know if we need to reallocate them, or do we just need to authorize Chuck to expend them? He thought we had to maybe change the wording on, but the budget.
Yeah, I think the description should match the ledger number. So if anyone questions why we're using that money, that it matches and doesn't look like we just willy-nilly changed what we wanted to use it for.
No, they're water distribution elements, so they belong there.
Right, right. But it's for a different reason now, right?
Right. But I don't think the ones that are listed by Chuck are the ones. I don't think what's on here.
Oh.
Okay, listen, Chuck. Implement recommendations on the Route 31 water storage tank. Change that funding to the Canton Street pump and electric upgrades project and repairs to the Route 31 booster pump station. I know that's that building that we authorized. Yes.
Correct. Yes. Perfect.
But you want to use it for the electric upgrades?
We're going to use it to purchase the new pump we're putting in there. We're going to put a third pump in, and that will pay for that and the roof on the roof of the building and the pump station.
Okay, and then anything left in that would be applied to the next item, the Doan Well rehab project.
Correct. Right. Yes. Yep. The upgrade. Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're wording everything right.
Yeah, it's whatever Anna needs.
Well, it just should be as accurate as possible as to what you plan on using the $60,000 for. If it's not what's listed in the budget.
I don't think it's the electric upgrades. Isn't that the KJ project?
The KJ product is the electric upgrades, but what we needed was we needed the W2O that they were going to put that third pump in, and that was substantial. And then we had the roof go on the pump station, which neither one of those were budgeted items. And so that's what we were looking to spend that money on.
In the meeting, Chuck
And
mentioned
there'll be like
$5,400 more for the building up on Route 31. The pump was around 30,000. So
Correct.
then that leaves approximately 15 to 25,000. Quick math isn't
Correct.
happening.
Yeah.
And that would be applied to the Lane Christian Company redevelopment of the 2 wells. And we will overexpend that line and dip into the fund balance.
Everybody got that? Anybody have any questions?
I just keep looking at Anna, that she's the one.
No, as long as you're spending it for, it just needs the sheet. I know no one else really sees this, but if we're questioned what that line item is being used for, I would go immediately to this budget, and it's not going to match what you're really using the funds for. So I'm just concerned about that, that's all.
Okay.
Bob, any concerns?
Well, no, if you're going to change it, then you can just adopt a resolution.
Okay. Okay. All right, then we'll proceed with the 2 new business items. Everybody's comfortable with that? And I get a motion regarding the reallocation of $60,000 in the water fund, F8340.43, line maintenance projects, from implement recommendations on Route 31 water storage tank to the Canton Street pump and electric upgrades project and repairs to the Route 31 booster pump station.
I'll move.
Can we add the Donewell rehabilitation also? Because I think there's going to be some money left there, and we will pay for part of it out of that.
If that's item B.
Item B is,
Awarding the contract.
yeah, that's different.
Okay,
This is the allocation of funds.
so what do you want to add on to this?
Donewell?
The rehabilitation project for Donewells.
Would be, okay, that's the third,
It's not going to pay for the whole thing, but it'll
right, okay.
allow Anna to pay something out of it if she wants.
I want to make sure that Mo has that right for the,
It's just bringing part of item B up into there.
gotcha. Okay. All right, so everybody got that? We have a motion and a second, right?
Not, do we? Okay.
No,
We have a
I didn't
motion.
think we did that.
we don't have a motion.
Oh, we don't. Can I get a
Or a
motion?
second.
And I thought Andy did, but
You did.
I didn't see you, Andy.
all right. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Mark. Any more discussion? I think this is money, going to be money well spent. I think we're really taking care of our system. That's great. All right, we have a motion and a second now, officially. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. All right, now we have a discussion, possible action to award the Donewell #1 and Donewell #2 rehabilitation project to the Lane Christensen Company in the amount of $54,375. Now this is
Okay.
it.
And Mo shared with us that we as a board already authorized doing this, contingent upon finding out where the money was going to come from. And I emailed Bob, and Bob said that 2 avenues we have, choices, are to tap into the fund balance, which is healthy, or to go into the reserve account, which would require resolutions and public hearings, I guess, and it just would slow the process. The Lane Christensen Company is ready to work pending a motion by this board authorizing them. And the only thing that I would like, the $54,375 is their quote. That's the price they've given us. But I think it might be prudent to change the motion to up to 60,000 just to be safe.
Okay, makes sense. We've done that a lot before, just to make sure we don't get caught short. All right, so we'll change the amount of up to 60,000.
Well, that was, I don't know. I'll word it differently maybe, because that's not what was on their bid though. We're awarding the bid for their amount, but I suppose we can.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
we'll leave it at that amount.
Well, should we award the bid and then approve the expenditures up
You
to?
can always approve the expenditures later. Makes it less likely they're gonna find something else.
Yeah, if you get overages.
Yeah, so we don't need to do more now.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion and a second, or do we not?
If not, I'll move.
I'll second it.
Andy second. All right, any other questions on this?
I would just note, I believe that Lane Christensen Company is the sole provider that was determined after a lengthy inquiry for this service. And they're the only people that are at this point able to provide the services that we need.
And they are also qualified and have done this job before. So we're very
Yes.
comfortable with them.
Okay, very good. Any other questions, concerns? All right, all in favor?
Let me add, before we go out of this, we're working on a strategy that we had to get certain pumps in place at Canton Street before we could take wells offline out at Doane to redevelop, so that when they're back up, we can take Canton Street back offline to do the electric project farther down the road. So Chuck's juggling here.
Very good. If anybody knows how to juggle it, it's Chuck.
Yeah.
There's the plan.
Yep. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. There's no other motions that I'm missing, right? The only two.
Right.
Okay. I saw the new stuff you sent and I didn't look at the agenda because I just assumed it was the original. So, and while I was reading this, I got a happy birthday wish from Bob Wicks, by the way, supervisor from Lysander. Everybody's jumping on the bandwagon, and I don't have any cake to give anybody. So
we know.
Once we get back to our meeting room, we'll have to put that on the agenda.
Cake?
We have
Yes.
a lot of reasons that we've missed having cake for. We're gonna have to have cake every meeting for like a whole year.
Probably we've all had a birthday.
Oh, well, right. It's almost been a year,
Mm-hmm.
and just
I'll volunteer.
we'll have some fun when we finally get back. And
I go with Anna. She makes the best cakes.
Oh yeah. But I know somebody that makes a pretty good apple cake. All right, we've got all of our business done. Anything else? Andy's got his hand up.
Yeah.
Wants to make cake.
Had some discussion about the white glove dumpsters out on 370. I remember that was, you had discussed that before. Where are we at with that? 370 East. The white glove dumpsters.
On the commercial property at
Yeah.
370.
Yeah.
Okay, what,
I remember you had some discussion before about it. You were going to check into something.
yeah, I don't know that there's any issue with them being on the property, being a commercial property, him renting the space there.
All right. That's just what I wanted to know.
We got to keep him back from the road, though. I notice he's been pushing them further back on the property.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Anything else before we pay bills? Can I get a motion to pay bills as audited?
Moved.
Megan and Andy?
Yeah. Second.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:22?
Moved.
Andy and Mark? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. See you on the 21st when we will have the county here to discuss the sewer system situation. So brace yourself for that. And other than that, we'll say goodnight to everybody.
right, good night.
Right.
Good night.
Night.